wanting. There we are. So welcome to Sue and to Michelle for the recording. So we're starting in Sukhasana. Let me come to just put my video here. Brilliant. And I'll just mute everybody. There we go. And happy Valentine's, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day today. So come to a comfortable seat. So whatever that means for you. So you can sit cross-legged, or you can sit with your legs out in front of you, or you can sit kneeling. So I'm kneeling because I'm keeping the pressure away from this left leg here. Find a comfortable seat and just have a little wiggle, ease into this pose here. And then think about the positioning of your rib cage in relation to your hips. So when we sit like this, we tend to send our rib cage forward. So I want you to tuck your bottom ribs down, and that will really help you to think about this nice upright spine. So in yoga, when we talk about bandhas or locks in the system, we think about them as areas in the body that are almost like diaphragms. So think about your Mula Bandha, which is the one right at the very base of the spine when we talk about pulling up from the pelvic floor. That's the Mula Bandha. So think about that area and just gently encourage it to come in. So without creating tension in your body, just using it as a little bit of grounding for this position. And then work your way up to the bottom of your rib cage, so where the diaphragm is. So that's another sort of layer in the body that we're thinking about stacking on one on top of the other. And then moving up to the throat and to the roof of the mouth. So imagine the roof of the mouth is stacked perfectly on top of the diaphragm and then the Mula Bandha. And then lastly, think about the crown of the head. So it's almost like if you were looking at a multi-story building and you're thinking about those floors of the building. So the crown of the head, the roof of the mouth, the base of the ribs, the diaphragm, and the Mula Bandha, right at the bottom. And then relax your shoulders down. There's no tension in the body, just holding this lovely upright position. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. You can close your eyes here as you focus on your breath. So we're just going to do our three-part yogic breath. So breathing in through the nose, sending the breath all the way down to the belly, keeping that upright position, keeping that relaxation in the shoulders. And then as you breathe out, just feel the breath come all the way back out through the nose. Feel the shoulders relax a little bit more, but don't let go of your form. Keep that upright spine. So do that once more. Breathe into the belly. Breathe out. Last time. Excuse me. And then with the next breath, focus on sending it more into your ribs. So breathing in, fully expand your lungs, your rib cage. Oh, breathing makes you cough. And as you breathe out, let go of that breath. So the next breath, breathe in, send it all the way down to the belly. But this time encourage the opening through the rib cage as well. So you can feel the ribs moving forward, back and sideways. Breathing out, releasing from the belly, releasing from the ribs, from the thoracic area. Once more, breathing in, belly, ribs. Breathing out. And now with our next inhalation, we want to send the breath all the way up to the top of the chest. So breathe in, fill the belly, fill the ribs, and see if you can fill right to the top of the rib cage. So you might feel your shoulders start to want to get involved here. So just allow them to lift a little bit as you're breathing in. And then as you breathe out, feel them relax as the breath comes out from the belly, the lungs, and the clavicular area. So you're breathing into the whole expanse of the lungs. So do that once more. And breathing out. So really working into the top of the lungs. So just repeat that nice deep breath once more. We'll just remind ourselves, why do we breathe like this? When we breathe into our belly, we're really helping our respiratory system to work more efficiently. And it stimulates a relaxation response and it relieves pain. And it also tones the around the abs and the pelvic floor. And then when you move into your ribs, your thoracic area, and you're fully inflating your lungs, you're freeing your joints, freeing those intercostal muscles between the ribs and into the upper back and the neck. So it's really good for the body just to focus on that breath. And when you move up into the clavicular area, which is usually the area we associate with shallow breathing and panicking, this just helps us to expand the whole of the lungs. It's the area that we don't typically breathe into, so it's more of a cleansing breath. So now let go of any control of the breath. Just breathe normally. Just notice how calm your body feels. Maybe the muscles feel a little bit more relaxed and will move a little bit more freely as we get into our practice. And then with your next exhalation, just drop your chin to your chest. Blink your eyes open and lift your head. Welcome to class. So let's do some work on our wrists now. Get some strength and some mobility. So we're just going to float our hands up as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, you're going to press your hands away from you as if you're pressing against an imaginary wall. So feel how your stomach muscles will get involved here, your thighs will get involved, and certainly the upper arms. Breathe in, breathe out, send the fingers down. So make these strong movements as if there's resistance in front of you. Breathe in. Bring the hands now so that the fingers touch. So you think you're drawing the fingers together, middle finger. Breathe out, send them out wide, like you're opening gates. So you're pressing into the heel of the hand. Breathe in. Take the hands so that the fingers point up. So we're going to do those 4 movements again. Breathing out, send them down. Breathing in, bring the tips of the middle finger together. That's probably the only one that will really touch unless you've got long other fingers. Breathe out, open the gates. But keeping that resistance, and see if you can keep your shoulders down as you're doing this. So let's go through it once more. Breathing in, pressing away like it's a plank, pressing into the imaginary wall. Breathing out, send them down. Breathing in, hands together, or fingertips together, I should say. Breathing out, opening the gates. And now just take your left hand out in front of you and take the right hand and place it over that hand. So your left fingertips are at the wrist crease, and you're just going to pull the hand back. So gently encouraging that little bit of tension. So you can see from the side here. So you're getting a nice stretch here into the wrist. And then swap hands. So your arms might be starting to feel a little bit tired now. Maybe your shoulders, so you can feel some energy moving through the arms. We're nearly done. Then make fists with your hands and rotate the fists. Rotate those wrists around in a circular motion. Really get into the wrists. Warming up the wrists. And then send them in the other direction. Remember to keep breathing. And then gently place your hands down on your thighs and just sit for a moment. So don't do any major movements with your hands or your arms. We're just allowing everything to settle. You can feel that energy in the arms going all the way up to the shoulders. Maybe your fingers are tingling a little bit. Just allow them to release. Well done. So now we're going to come up into a high kneel. Oh, and I should have said at the beginning, we will need a block and we're going to need a strap in today's session as well. But the block comes first. So a block or a book. So from this high kneel, I'll turn to the side. Just take a breath in. And we're going to float our hands up into the air around the block, but you're keeping some tension on the side of that block. So feel how the upper arms, as you're working here, you're going to encourage those upper arms to sort of come in together and drop down towards the shoulders. And the shoulder blades will drop and try to come towards each other. Keep your gaze forward. Keep your tummy muscles engaged. And as you breathe out, just release the hands down towards the hips. So shoulders down and relaxed. So breathing in, squeezing the block. Really get some tension here. Breathing out. Bring the block back down. So let's think about those movements again. Breathing in. Squeezing the block, feel the upper arms. So from your elbows to your shoulders, try and drop them down in towards the shoulders and drop the shoulder blades together. Really building strength in your shoulders. Breathe out and release. So one more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Very simple movement to do anytime in the day with anything, with a book, a block, or even a can of beans, anything. So we're going to get a strap now. So you can stay kneeling or you can come to stand, entirely up to you. So I'm staying in this high kneel position so you can see everything that I'm doing. So holding your strap around about twice the width of your hips. So you want it quite wide, and just wrap the strap around your hands so you've got a good connection with it. So then as you breathe in, you're going to float your hands up, imagining that you're holding a weightlifter's bar. So as you float your hands up here, think about that same movement with your lower arms. You're dropping the lower arms from the elbows to the shoulders, down into the shoulder socket, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And just pull that strap apart. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, just send the right hand down to the side. So keep that strength. So we're not moving the left hand other than what's happening with this bar here. It's pulling the left hand over, but you're not doing anything with it. You're finding that lovely stretch to the left side of the body. Breathe in back to center. Breathe out to the left this time. So a lovely stretch to the right side of the body. Keep that tension on the bar. Breathe in back to center, over to the right. So can you feel your shoulder blades coming towards each other as you're doing this? Breathing into center. Keep the tummy engaged, keep the ribs tucked in. Keeping that nice straight spine. Back to center. And just hold the strap above your head now. So take a few breaths, holding that weightlifter's bar. Find the strength in the arms and the shoulders. And then release. Well done. So you can have a little shrug of your shoulders. Ease out, go forwards and back. Okay, so now with your next inhalation, you're going to float your right hand up. The palm is facing inwards. And as you breathe out, your left arm goes down towards the floor. So we're going to come into Gomukhanathana arms. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, bend both elbows and bring the fingertips together. So if that doesn't work for you, continue to use your strap. Because what we really want is for this right arm to be up alongside the ear. So we look on the side, we're keeping the arm up alongside. We don't want to end up like this, leaning forward. So keeping that strength and that form in the shoulders. Take a breath and then release. Let's try the other side. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale the right one away. Inhale. Exhale, bend in both elbows. Slide the hands at the back. One side might be quite different to the other. And then lift that left arm alongside the left ear. Keeping your form. Keep breathing. And then release. Well done. So just taking your hands, or if you're in your standing position already, that's fine. Otherwise, we're just going to bring ourselves up from the mat, come up to standing. Stand in Tadasana, hands at the heart center. Let's do a little flow, a little bit more work on our wrists. Taking a breath in, float your hands up and overhead. Bring the palms together overhead as you reach into the ceiling. Breathe out and dive all the way down to the mat. Come to a forward fold, Uttanasana. So have a bend in your knees and just plant the hands down on the mat. And then with your next inhalation, walk your hands out along the mat and take your knees to the mat to all fours. So planting the hands on the mat underneath your shoulders, toes into the mat, keeping the heels up and away from the floor. We're going to do 3 cat-cows. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, round through the spine, drop the head towards the mat, open through the shoulders and press those hands into the mat. Breathe in, breathe out, lead with your chin and your chest, tap the pelvis, come into cow pose. Breathe in, breathe out, cat pose. Breathe in, breathe out, cow pose. Breathe in, breathe out, cat pose. Really push that mat away from you. Breathe in, breathe out, cow pose. Breathe in, come back to all fours. So take your left hand and place it centrally underneath your body. So it's almost directly underneath your face. And then take your right hand and place it behind your right ear. So I'm going to show you why we move the hand into the center in a minute. So take a breath in and just open out to the side. Your right elbow lifts up to the ceiling. Follow that elbow with your gaze. And as you breathe out, take the elbow to your left arm. Breathe in and open. Breathe out and send the elbow to the arm. So now as you breathe in, this next one, just think about what's happening with your left shoulder. Can you feel how in this position, you're opening more around the back? Because the arm is tucked a little bit more into the center. So take the elbow back, just reposition your left hand back so that it's in your typical all four position. So it's more under the left shoulder. And now do that move again. Hand on the right ear, open up. Can you feel the difference? You're not getting that opening in the shoulder. You get, it sort of crunches more into the left shoulder. So I hope you can see that. So let's come back to all fours. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So take your right hand this time underneath your face, sort of more central. You're drawing this right shoulder in. You're creating more of a stretch here. Left hand to the left ear. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. So keeping your hips stable here. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. Elbow to the arm. Last time. Exhale. Take your hands back to the mat. Place them underneath your shoulders. Fingers are pointing forward. Take a breath here. Really connect the hands to the mat. And then on your next inhalation, take your hands so the fingers point out to the sides of the mat. So we're sending them out into that open gate position. Just holding this all fours position. So keep your shoulders strong here. Don't sink down. You put too much pressure on the wrists. And this might be enough for your wrists. But if you feel that you can add a little bit more of a stretch, take a breath in. As you breathe out, send the fingertips so that they point back towards your knees. Keep breathing. Keep lifting through the shoulders. Keep the tummy muscles engaged. Keep your hips over your knees. And then we can either stay here for another breath, or if you feel that you've got some strength and flexibility in your wrist, you can take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to lift your knees. So only come as high as is right for you. If you can come up into your down dog position, then give it a go. Otherwise, just bring the knees up to the position that's right for you, or stay with the knees on the floor. It's a really good wrist stretch. And then slowly take the knees back to the mat. Release your feet. Sit back onto the heels, releasing slowly from your hands, and just place your hands on your thighs. Resist the temptation to do any big movements, any shakes or circling or anything. Just give the body enough time to return to its normal position, and just feel all that tingling and all that energy from your shoulders down to your wrists. And then take your knees wide, slide your hands out in front of you along the floor, and come to child's pose. Just release the head towards the mat. Relax the shoulders, relax the hands and the wrists. And then slowly as you inhale, bring yourself up to your all fours position. So take your toes into the mat. Take a breath in, really plant those hands. As you breathe out, lift your hips and your knees, come to downward facing dog. Dropping the head through the arms. So think about the strength in your legs here. You're sending your heels back to the floor. We're not pressing and creating tension in our hands and our wrists. We're using the strength of our legs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Shift the weight forward. Come into plank. Reposition if you need to. Find a nice strong plank. And we're going to lower to the mat. So you've got two choices. You can take your knees and you can chaturanga down by crossing feet at the ankles. Or you can just gaze at the mat here. Find the strength in the shoulders as you breathe out. Bending at the elbows, slowly lower. Hover over the mat and then release. Well done. And then we're just going to roll over onto our side. So we're going to do some exercises here that strengthen the muscles that run down the side to the outside of the leg. They're called the TFL and the piriformis. And this is because we don't have muscles in the knee. So if we strengthen these, we will protect the knee by protecting that, that vulnerable area, strengthening these muscles. So you're going to take your right leg, bend it, and place the foot in front of your left thigh. And then your left leg stays extended. You can either stay up on your left shoulder or you can release down to the mat, whatever's comfortable for you. So find some strength in this left leg. So make that strong. Your tummy muscles are engaged. Take a breath in. and lift the left foot a third of the way from the mat, so a third to your capacity. And then breathe in again, lift it another third. And then again, another third. So only as far as is right for you. And as you breathe out, lower it down. So try that again, breathing in a third, another third, the final third. It won't come up as high as you want it to come because you end up rolling towards the back. So take it down. So you're working that muscle on the outside of the left leg at the moment. And then send it down. So let's just do one more on that side. Breathe in, lift a third, another third, final third, rest it down. So now send your right leg out along the mat, and this time bend the left leg. So the knee goes forward, just bending the left leg out in front of you. Right leg is extended. Keep in this position with your left arm or lying out. Take a breath in, lift the right leg a third, another third. Take it down a third, and a third. So it's 3 movements. So you think about, we're not just going to swing the leg all the way up. We're going to take it up with control. And the other thing to think about is your heel leads. So send your heel so that it points up to the ceiling and the toes point down. And you feel the difference in that muscle on the outside. So this time we're working the right leg, TFL muscle and piriformis. And send it down in 3. So breathing in, up in 3. Point the toes down, lead with the heel. Once more. Like a Pilates class, isn't it? So well done. So now we're going to flip around to the other side and do the same on this side. So we start with the right leg extended, the left leg is bent, and we're going to lift the left leg in 3. So lift the right leg in 3, lifting it up a third, up a third, up a third, send it down. Again, just lifting in 3, sending it down. You should be feeling that in the right hip coming up all the way towards the waist as you balance on the outer edge of that right hip. It's just working into those muscles, the TFL muscle, tensor fascia lata muscle that runs all the way down the side of the body, and then working into the piriformis that runs in from the middle of the buttock and down. So one more on this side, lifting a third and then exhaling down. And then swapping the legs, so extend the left leg, bend the right so that it comes out in front of you. The knee is pointing in front. And this time we're going to lift the left leg. So lift that a third. Remember to lift it and lead with the heel, point the toes down, and then send it down in a third. A third up. So that action of pointing the toes down and lifting the heel, you can feel how it really gets deep into the buttock. That's the piriformis muscle. They both help with the stability of the hips and also the strengthening of the knees. Well done. So just roll over onto your back and hug the knees into the chest. Let's have a little massage from side to side. And then take your hands behind your thighs And have a little roll. And bring yourself up. Well done. So we're just going to cross our feet at the ankles, tuck them underneath us, roll over, release your feet, lift your hips. You're in forward fold. Take your hands back towards your feet. And inhale and slowly, slowly come up to stand. So you might remember this next little sequence of knee exercises because it's the video that I did, oh, I don't know, about 2 years ago. Yeah, it was in the lockdown. So we stand with our feet quite wide and point the toes out to the corners of the mat. So our feet are wider than hip distance apart. Then stand up straight and tall. Taking a breath in, float your hands up towards the ceiling in a Y shape. And then as you breathe out, you're going to bring your hands towards your hips and you're going to lean forward so that you're just floating the back down into that flat position. So what's this doing for us? So, okay, let's come back up. Let's just check in with a couple of things. So first of all, send your inner arches down to the floor. So now you can feel that your knees are trying to turn inwards. So now draw them back out. So feel the strength in your legs. So your thighs have got engaged now, and so have your calves. So now do that same move. Float the arms up, keep that strength in the legs. Breathing out, hands come to the hips. Keeping the strength in the legs, just sending the body forward. Feel how you're really working the thighs and the calves. Breathe in, float the hands up. Breathe out, hands to the hips, working forward. So these moves come from a book called Anatomy of Hatha Yoga. Let's do it again. And the bloke who wrote it, David Coulter, he said, you should do, there's 3 sets of moves, so this is one set. You should do them for 5 minutes for each one. And so basically you're doing it for about 15 minutes each day. And you'll notice a massive improvement in the strength around your knees. So that was the first set of moves. Come back to upright. Keep that form with the feet. Keep those inner arches down. Pull the knees out. Take a breath in. Float your hands up once more. This time, turn to the right. So your knees are pointing forward. We haven't shifted anything with our hips or our knees. This is all the upper body. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Keeping that lower body strength. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Are you gripping on with your toes? See if you can release them. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Just do one more of these. Inhale to center. Exhale right. Inhale to center. Exhale left. Inhale, release. So the last one, keep that position again. So I'm just turning to face you. So your inner arches down, pull out the knees so that they pointing forward, feel those thighs engaged. Standing up straight and tall, relax the shoulders. Inhale. As you exhale, slide your right hand down the right thigh. Keep that strength in the legs. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the left. So you won't go very far, but you should be feeling your muscles underneath your palms here. Feel how you're really using those muscles down the sides of the legs deep into the quads, and the calves are strong. Working the strength into the knees. Once more on the left-hand side, and then back to center. Well done. So 3 simple exercises, but they're really powerful. So let's come back to the top of the mat. Let's just do a little flow to work and work into that strength and release the body a little bit. So standing up straight and tall. Take a breath in, release the hands up and overhead. And then as you breathe out, dive down to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, float your hands up to your shins. Find that half forward fold. Exhale, hands to the mat. Keep feeling the strength in your legs and your knees. Inhale, float your hands out wide, come up, reaching up to the ceiling, the sky. Breathe out, float all the way back down to the mat, Uttanasana. So plant your hands this time, have a bend in the knees. Breathe in, breathe out, downward facing dog. Step those feet back. So from your down dog, send the weight back towards your heels. Don't send pressure into your wrists. Keep your shoulders strong. Inhale, come up onto your toes. And as you exhale, send both heels over to the left-hand side. Inhale, up onto your toes. Exhale to the right. Inhale, up onto your toes. Exhale, back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the weight into plank. Exhale, knees to the mat. Cross your feet at your ankles and chaturanga down to the mat, sliding your chin and your chest through. Release your feet so your shoulder blades come together as you come up into cobra. Take a breath here. Breathe in, breathe out, lifting up and away from the mat. Sink the heels, the hips back to the heels. Child's pose. Breathe in, come back to all fours. Breathing out, toes into the mat, lift your hips, lift your knees, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale and walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Come to Uttanasana, forward fold. And then very slowly bring yourself up to Tadasana. Hands to the heart center. Everybody okay? Good. So just before we finish, we're just going to do a little balance. And let's see how our balance is this morning. So let's get settled before we do that. Relax your shoulders. Take a breath in. I'm just going to turn to face you. Release your hands to alongside your body. So we're going to come into a star-shaped balance. So we're going to keep our right foot planted on the floor. So spread the toes wide. Find that connection. Inhale, lift your left heel and just take the toes out to the side. So extending that left foot, keeping that upright spine, keeping that straight line through the right leg. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, float your hands out to the side. Find your drishti. And as you exhale, just gently start to lift the left toe. And you may want to start to move slightly to the side, coming into that star shape. Turn your palms to face forward. Reach the fingertips away. Just hold that position. So remember the strength in our foot and our right thigh. If you send, it's a bit of a challenge to do it when you're on one leg, but send the inner arch to the floor and then pull the knee back to the center. So you'll find that strength in that standing leg. Engage your tummy muscles. And then release. Well done. So just stand for a moment. We're going to see how we are on the other side. Spread those left toes really wide. Get that good connection before we start. Relax the shoulders. Engage your tummy. Inhale, weight into the left foot. Exhale this right toe out to the side. So we're just balancing on the right toe, keeping the straight line to the left side of the body. Inhale, float the hands out. Turn the palms forward at this point. And then as you exhale, finding your drishti, start to tip towards the left. Opening through the shoulders, trying to reach those fingertips away to the floor and the ceiling or the side walls, whatever you're imagining with those fingertips. And then release and come back. Well done. So just got one more little balance. This is a bit more of a challenge. So stand up straight and tall. Find that connection before we do anything. And then on your next inhalation, send the weight into the left foot. Lift your right knee and hug it towards your chest. So this is a little bit of a challenge, this next one. We're going to see how we do with it. I'm not confident, but we'll give it a go. So now with your next inhalation, leaving your leg where it is, float your hands up into the air. So reach into the ceiling, the palms are facing each other. Find your drishti. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to tip forward and send that right leg behind you as you reach into warrior three, extending the right leg, pointing the toes. Take a breath here. And then very slowly as you inhale, start to lift the arms, lifting the knee. Try not to touch the foot down. Come back to where we were. Well, I'm amazed I did that. And then release the hands and the foot. Well done. Let's try on the other side. Noticing that it can be quite different. So get that connection with the right foot, relax your shoulders, engage your tummy. Inhale, right foot into the floor, left foot, release it, bend the knee, hug it into the chest. Find your drishti. Inhale, float the right hand and both hands up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you just gently tipping forward, reaching the hands, Reach in the leg. Well done. Taking a glance at you, well done. So see if you can get flat back. Really reach. And then as you inhale, slowly unwind. Bring your hands back up above you. Ooh. Left knee is bent. Bit of hopping around the mat. And then release. Well done. Good, strong balance. So take your feet quite wide on the mat. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just slowly sink down to the mat. Nothing too strenuous, just get yourself down there. Release the feet out in front of you. Sitting up in our Dandasana. Just allow the breath to settle. And then taking a breath in, breathing out, just allow your back to lower to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Come down to the mat. So we're going to come into Shavasana. So if you want to grab your layers or your blankets, find your Shavasana, your relaxation. So coming down to the mat, just take a moment to release your body all the way down into your mat. Just allow your breath to settle. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Check that your arms are in a gentle V away from the body, palms facing up. Relax your shoulders. Your legs are slightly wider than hip distance apart. And just drop your toes out to the side. Relax your feet, your heels, and your hips. Keep that breath going in through the nose, out through the nose. Allowing the whole body to relax into the mat. Done your work for today. Just let go now. Allow all the muscles to release. Release any tension you may be holding. Your face, your forehead, your jaw, your neck and your shoulders. Let your arms sink into the mat. Release your spine one vertebra at a time. Feel that connection with the whole of the back body. Release the hips. Release the thighs and the calves and the shins, the feet and the ankles. Just allow yourself these few moments of relaxation. Start to bring some awareness back to your body now. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And on your next inhalation, float your arms up and overhead and do a full body stretch. And as you exhale, just allow the hands to rest on the floor. Inhale and bend your knees, plant your feet on the floor. And exhale, roll over onto your right hand side. Just hugging your knees in a little closer. Give yourself a touch. And as it's Valentine's Day, I'll just read you this little quote from Mother Teresa. She said, "Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love." When you're ready, just bringing yourself back up to a seated position. Sitting up straight and tall, we'll finish with our 3 breaths together. Take your hands out to the side, fingertips to the mat. Breathing in, reaching up and overhead. Breathing out, hands to the heart center. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.